All right. Our president, Kank's approval rating is plummeting by the day. Play the clip.
Approval rating right now, John, sits at 37%. That is a low mark in this term for Donald Trump. His disapproval is at 63%. That's a high mark for his entire time as president, first and second term combined. I will say Democrats and independents fleeing him, of course. Republicans still with him, which is why we'll see him doing these tele-rallies tonight for the Republican candidates for governor. Take a look over the course of this year. You'll see down here, mid-February, late February, he was at 48% approval. That was a honeymoon period after the election. He's now been steadily going down all year long. Why? One of the reasons why, it seems, is that the American people think he's gone too far when using presidential power. 61% say so, way up from February. And deporting undocumented immigrants, 57% of Americans in this poll, John, say that he has gone too far in doing that. And in fact, he said
Okay, so Kank's is at 37%. I saw some polling actually a couple of weeks ago that had him at 37%. And so this is really going to set him off because he cannot stand looking weak, looking like he's doing a bad job, and he's very into poll numbers. And this is where you're going to see him start exaggerating, because I think what happens is the people around him will like make up a poll and take it to him, and he'll be like, oh, look, you're 80% approval rating. And he'll be like, oh, that's great. And then he gets on the news and he starts saying it. And of course, he looks like an asshole, like an idiot, like he always does. But when you see this 37% approval rating, of course, you're like, oh my God, thank God the majority of the people are seeing what I'm seeing. In my opinion, 37% is way too high. But we're not the only ones seeing this. The MAGA fissures are incredibly important to keep an eye on. Tucker Carlson, he sees the writing on the wall. And so there's this representative named Randy Fine, and he is like just a total Trump, Netanyahu ass kisser of the highest order. And here he is at a rally. And I want you to play the clip, and I want you guys to look at the signs in front of Representative Fine. Play the clip.
Tucker Carlson is the most dangerous anti-Semite in America. He has chosen to take on the mantle of leader of a modern-day Hitler Youth, to broadcast and feature those who celebrate the Nazis, those who call for the extermination of Israel, to defend Hamas, to even criticize President Trump for stopping Iran's nuclear.
Okay, so the signs in front of him said Tucker is not MAGA. So here's what happened. Tucker goes on, or has, Nick Fuentes on a podcast. They do a collab. Nick Fuentes is a total neo-Nazi, okay? An anti-Semite, a racist, homophobe, all of the things. That's what he is. Interestingly about this, the Heritage Foundation could have very easily and should have immediately distanced itself from Tucker, but they did not. And they will not, which tells you if Tucker, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and now the Heritage Foundation, who is totally vested in this Project 2025, are turning away from Kank's and making room for neo-Nazis in their tent, they're looking at a post-Kank's world. The meaner, the more racist, the more anti-Semitic, the more misogynist, the better. So I think this is a very interesting thing. And you guys, this is an all-out civil war in MAGA, I guess within the 37%. All right. Now, here's somebody who you guys have had a watch on. And this is Marjorie Taylor Greene on Bill Maher. Play the clip.
A number of the members of the administration are now living on a military base. What? You didn't know this?
No.
Oh, yeah. Stephen Miller just moved there. Kristi Noem lives on a military base. J.D. Vance. Oh, no. Rubio. Pete Hegseth. I mean, for people who love America so much, they seem to be scared of it.
I'm one of those people they call a conspiracy theorist. When I hear things like that, I'm like, what do they know that I don't know?
Well, I don't think it's I don't think it's, it's in the paper, but I don't know.
Okay, so I mean, I have to say, I fucking hate agreeing with her, but when I heard that they were all living on military bases, I'm like, what's all that about? But you guys, Marjorie Taylor Greene has every single time she's in the news, she continues to find more and more daylight between herself and the MAGA movement. These fissures and this approval rating of only 37% means that this whole regime is coming to a screeching halt. Combine that with the cankles, the bruised hands, the dementia, the binge eating McDonald's, the alleged Adderall snorting, and all of the things that we see with this man. The clock is ticking at the end of this. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is looking for a higher calling beyond just being the crazy nut from Georgia. And here she is, and she gets a huge applause on Bill Maher speaking about Moses Mike Grinder Johnson. Play the clip.
That's passed Obamacare, but yet the Republicans have never done anything to correct the problems that exist with it. And I blame my own party. That's absolutely wrong. And I don't think it's an easy thing to fix. However, it's something that we should have a plan for. And Mike Johnson, for a month now, cannot give me a single policy idea. And I'm angry about that.
Is this your understanding of Obamacare, that it raises?
Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene sucks, and Bill Maher just continues to disappoint all of the time. But you guys, for people that are not news junkies like all of us, that just wander in and out of the news cycle, and they've been indoctrinated to be Republicans, and they're like, oh, that's that crazy lady from Georgia. Oh, she's actually making a little bit of sense right now. This is leaving a huge vacuum that Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are refusing to fill. And so you have grifters, anti-Semitic, Christian nationalists like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson that are going to fill this vacuum. And I want to take you through a series of tweets that I saw from a user named Nathan June. And I just thought this was A+ messaging. And let's look at these together. The first one is just a reminder. We are not agreeing with Candace Owens. We are not agreeing with Tucker Carlson. We are not agreeing with Kirk Cameron. We are not agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. They are sometimes agreeing with us. And I thought that was a really good point because some of these things are so obvious that even the dipshit MAGAs that are now defecting have to agree with us on, like affordable health care and corporate greed, and that MAGA clearly doesn't seem to be America first. Here's his next tweet. I earnestly cannot believe how hard we have to work in New York City right now to prevent a sexual predator from becoming our mayor. And I mean, is that not the truth? The fact that the Democratic Party allowed and supported Andrew Cuomo after he lost a primary was just about the most Trumpian thing I've ever seen. When you lose a race, you tuck your tail between your legs, congratulate your opponent, and exit the stage. Andrew Cuomo seems to think, like Trump, that the rules that apply to everybody else don't apply to him. And he had a bunch of billionaires that went along with it because they're terrified of a progressive Muslim that's going to raise their taxes by 2%. So this is just a very devastating space for the Democratic Party that they have not jumped on board with this. And you may remember back in 2007, in the lead up to the 2008 presidential campaign, the Democrats treated Barack Obama the same way they're treating Zoran Mamdani. They used xenophobia, they used racism, and called him a socialist and all of these things. And he won 2 terms. And he's the last Democratic president to have done so. Moving along, we have somebody tweets, sweet lady, West Virginia. She tweets, New York will never be the same. Socialism is here. And Nathan June responds, you live in West Virginia, 48th in education, 49th in GDP, 49th in life expectancy, 46th in food security. You literally need democratic socialism by all measurable statistics. This is A+ messaging. I think the DNC needs to hire this Nathan June immediately and have him start messaging this for the Democrats. Why the Democrats are not going after red states and their abysmal statistics is beyond me. The Republicans have been going after blue states and blue cities forever, and now they're literally sending troops into blue states and blue cities. And the Democrats, you have a layup. Attack how shitty these red states are run and how shitty these MAGA and Republican supermajorities are. And the next one, somebody tweets, the pastor Jonathan Smith tweets, I support implementing a mandatory drug test every 90 days for SNAP participants. And my guy, Nathan June, responds and said, I support doing something that costs 10 times more than the actual thing it covers. Y'all are so fucking stupid. It's painful. And this is just very simple, great messaging. And I don't know if you've seen an interview with Hakeem or if you've seen an interview with Chuckles lately. It is snooze fest, word salad. Nobody knows what they're saying. And the last one by Nathan June, he responds to Sky is Blue 2010 that tweeted, he and all believing leftists believe that money grows on trees owned by the 1%. Nathan retweets with comment and says the top 1% in the United States own 30% of the overall wealth in the country, own 50% of the stock market, fund 20% of all campaign donations. This is not a belief. It's a statistical conclusion. And so shout out to Nathan June for that excellent messaging. And I wish that the Democratic establishment would take a play out of this playbook. You need to start attacking the hypocrisy on full display of these Republican Christians like Moses Mike Grinder Johnson. You need to start attacking daily the full-blown dementia that we are seeing from this administration and apply pressure to the media and others. And you need to start attacking these shitty run red states. It's a layup. You have the data that Republican policies, when you have Republican supermajorities, absolutely devastate these states. And all of these whining little triple Trumpers have to parasite off of blue cities and blue states, because name one big red city. Name one. It doesn't fucking exist, because when people live in a big city together, you have to cooperate with one another. You walk down the street, somebody could be trans, somebody could be speaking another language, somebody could be black, and you realize we all have to cooperate with one another in order for this to work. And you don't have the fucking time to sit around and be wound up like a cheap clock because somebody is different than you. So Nathan June, I love the work you're doing online. I think it's just very simple, smart messaging. That's all we have for this episode. Make sure you subscribe and like and comment to feed the algorithm, and we'll be back later with more news.